Mammals that belong to the Mustelidae family, otters are present throughout the world except for Australia and Antarctica. Globally, there are 13 otter species, 3 of which are found in India, the smooth-coated otter, the Eurasian otter and the Asian small-clawed otter. Depending on the species, otters are aquatic, marine or semi-aquatic. Their webbed feet and long tails make them able swimmers. Their fur also equips them for life near water bodies. They are identified by their grayish-brown color, small eyes and ears and their flattened tails. Smooth-coated otters are found throughout India, and they occupy a range of water bodies like rivers, lakes, estuaries and inundated rice fields. They also reside in mangrove forests and semi-arid regions. Rocky areas near water bodies are their preferred sites for resting and making dens. It's a little-known fact that sea otters have a secret place on their bodies that they can store things. What do you do when you are a sea otter and you have a big piece of clam in your paws but need to adjust the piece in your mouth that you just bit off? Well, if you are Chloe the sea otter, you stash the piece in your paws into your secret pocket. Sea otters have a fold of fur under their armpits that act like a pocket where they can securely place small items, thus freeing up their paws for other things. The palms have tough pads that help with gripping. Under each forearm are baggy pockets of loose skin. The sea otter uses these pockets to store food it has gathered. It also stores favorite rocks that it uses for cracking open mollusks and clams.
You know, the vagina is nature's pocket. It's natural, and it's responsible.
What do you know about penguin love? Do penguins mate for life? You might be surprised with the answer. Penguin love is different, and often, they stick to one partner for their life. However, that's not always the case, similar to what you experience with humans. The answer differs according to the type of penguin you are looking at. Penguins are cute, funny kind of creatures, aren't they? We have witnessed their madness in films like Madagascar, loved the chemistry between penguins in Happy Feet and March of the Penguins almost made us sentimental. Penguins have been marketed and packed and repacked in many ways, through films, cartoon, toys, games and whatnot. Most of you would go down to the memory lane when Penguin Club is mentioned. This famous game was so popular among kids that it was the hype those days. You want to believe it or not, but you have been associated with penguins in one way or another. But do you have your facts correct? The use of stones in penguin love. Isn't it surprising how both the female species have affection towards stones? It is debated among scientists that presenting stones really matter in the mating and copulation process, as scientists state that shape and look of the pebble doesn't really matter. It is often noticed that presenting of the stone coincides with the mating process and that it can be part of the ritual process to mate. It may or may not play any role in mating, but it is for sure romantic and quirky, which even we in a way do in our lives. Do penguins mate for life?
I love you.
Affection. You can imagine how difficult it is for the penguins to identify their mates in the rush of thousands of other penguins, but Mother Nature has a solution for this too. Penguins have individual vocal calls or vocalization which is unique to every single one of them. They use this vocal call for various purposes like identifying their mates and chicks, calling their colony members or alerting for danger. They use contact calls for identifying their colony members, and it is known that the emperor penguin and the king penguin can vocalize to the range of 1 kilometer. Imagine we have that power and call out to the best friend 1 kilometer away. It would be such a ruckus, no wonder we don't have that. Another unique call the penguin have is the display class, which they usually use to covey any sexual or territorial signal. These calls are different for different purposes, as scientists have observed that the calls of the male emperor penguin and the female emperor penguin differ, as the study shows. We humans can give it to them, as they never shy away to call out their love, unlike us who tend to stay quiet and not profess our love to the partners. Take this time to say something nice to your loved ones if you have not done already. Be like a penguin. There can be no argument that the most famous aspect of honeybee biology is their method of recruitment, commonly known as the honeybee dance language. It has served as a model example of animal communication in biology courses at all levels, and is one of the most fascinating behaviors that can be observed in nature. The dance language is used by an individual worker to communicate at least two items of information to one or more other workers: the distance and direction to a location, usually a food source, such as a patch of flowers. It is most often used when an experienced forager returns to her colony with a load of food, either nectar or pollen. If the quality of the food is sufficiently high, she will often perform a dance on the surface of the wax comb to recruit new foragers to the resource. The dance language is also used to recruit scout bees to a new nest site during the process of reproductive fission, or swarming. Recruits follow the dancing bee to obtain the information it contains, and then exit the hive to the location of interest. The distance and direction information contained in the dance are representations of the source's location, see components of the dance language, and thus is the only known abstract language in nature other than human language. Why do squirrels adopt babies? In the video, it is said that baby squirrels are often orphaned and need to be taken care of, so the mother squirrel will take them in and care for them. When it comes to animal parents, squirrels are some of the most dedicated and nurturing creatures around. So, why do they adopt babies? There are a few reasons why a squirrel might adopt a baby. The first is that the mother squirrel might have died, and the baby is orphaned. In this case, the baby squirrel will be taken in by another mother squirrel who will raise it as her own. The second reason is that the mother squirrel may have rejected her baby for some reason. This could be because the baby is sick or disabled, or because she simply doesn't have enough milk to feed it. Whatever the reason, another mother squirrel will step in to care for the rejected baby. The third reason is that the mother squirrel may be unable to care for her baby due to injury or illness. In this case, she may entrust her baby to another mother squirrel who is better able to care for it. No matter what the reason, it's clear that squirrels are incredibly caring creatures who are willing to go above and beyond to make sure that their babies are safe and healthy. Do squirrels move their babies from one nest to another? Do squirrels move their babies from one nest to another? Yes, squirrels often move their babies from one nest to another. This is usually done if the mother feels threatened by fleas or the nest becomes too infested. The babies will be moved to new nests by their mother at 6 weeks old. Here are some more details on why and how squirrels move their babies. Nests are often built by squirrels in chimneys or attics. They usually build 3 or 4 nests to be able to move the babies around if they feel threatened by fleas or the nest becomes too infested. The babies will be moved to new nests by their mother at 6 weeks old. This is done in order to protect the young from predators and parasites. Sometimes, the mother will even abandon a nest if it becomes too infested. Overall, it is not uncommon for squirrels to move their babies from one nest to another. This is typically done for safety reasons, such as protecting the young from predators and parasites. Do both parents care for baby squirrels? No, both parents do not care for baby squirrels. When it comes to baby squirrels, both parents typically care for them until they are able to be independent, typically around 10 weeks of age. However, the best chances of survival for a baby squirrel are when its mother takes care of it. This is because mothers are able to provide the best care and nourishment for their young. Healthy young squirrels can often be found alone on the ground. They aren't orphans, they just need to be reunited with their mother. If you come across a baby squirrel, the best thing you can do is leave it alone and allow its mother to take care of it. Are cows friendly? They certainly can be, although this depends somewhat on the cow in question. Much like humans and other animals, cows are individuals with distinct and discrete psychologies and personalities. Terms like temperament or behavioral syndromes, which scientific literature often uses to describe cows' behavior, are meant to distinguish cows from people. But there is no genuine distinction between what these terms describe and one's personality. One part of a cow's personality is sociability, which means that within a herd, some cows may be more gregarious characters than others. In general, cows are social, herd animals, and so a level of friendliness and cooperation amongst themselves is essential to their survival. There has been some fear surrounding cows and their perceived lack of friendliness due to a few isolated cases of people fatally trampled by a herd. These instances are rare and almost always have to do with dogs, who tend to make cows feel threatened. Bulls can be more aggressive and should be avoided. When cows have calves during the spring months, some caution is warranted, as their maternal instinct can manifest in aggression. Still, cows are generally friendly and approachable animals. People who engage in healthy relationships with cows are rewarded and impressed by their sensitivity, friendliness, and intelligence. Do cows play? Cows play as much as they can and particularly enjoy a good frolic in their childhood years. Almost all types of play associated with other mammal species, including pets like dogs, can be witnessed in cows. Cows enjoy playing with balls, bucking, gambling, galloping, and play fighting. They also play with other species, including humans. They are highly social creatures, and some choice, heartwarming footage of cows playing is available on YouTube. Unfortunately, current animal industry practice tends to curtail play in animals, leading to worse social development and poor well-being in the farmed cows exploited for food. For example, calves raised together tend to engage in play fighting, which encourages their future success in the herd hierarchy by engendering assertiveness. However, calves raised in isolation exhibit no such traits and are at a social disadvantage. Farmed cows have their social abilities further inhibited by the significant pain cattle have to endure. From lameness and infections like mastitis to castration, branding, disbutting, and dehorning, cattle are subjected to considerable pain that impairs their ability to play. Do cows feel sad? Cows can certainly feel sadness, as well as other negative emotions. Their emotional reaction can be triggered by a single event and last for a long period of time. Traumatic events in a cow's life can be physically excruciating acts like dehorning or emotionally damaging events like separating calves and mothers, which is standard practice in the dairy industry. Cows will maintain a depressed and anxious psychological state for days after such events. They will remain emotionally impaired due to the past trauma, interpreting neutral or ambiguous stimuli more hesitantly or negatively. One sign that a cow is in a negative emotional state is that there is more white showing in their eyes. The positioning of their ears can also be an indicator of emotional distress. Can a cow cry? They can cry insofar as they can vocalize emotion and cry out in pain. Mother cows often do this when their calves are forcibly removed from them. Mother cows will cry out for days on end for their calf, whose voice they hope to hear and recognize in response. There is not much difference between this behavior and expressing one's troubled emotional state by crying.